Hey, what's going on? It's your boy Caleb. Um, if you're watching this, okay, I'm gonna leave that in. Sorry. If you're watching this, I just finished uploading my second podcast, and this will be kind of like a reflection video on the podcast experience and the podcast content. So, yeah, I would say I got some improvement and some growth for my first podcast. Um, but I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of myself for just getting in there and doing it. I didn't have um, you know everything perfect. I'll say it that way. I didn't have everything perfect. However, just like in the one video I mentioned earlier, sometimes you have to take imperfect action until you get your way to perfection. And so that's what I'm doing. Taking my own advice, taking my own advice, and just getting along the way with imperfect action. In this last podcast, talking about being mindful of what we consume. And so part of the reason why I'm out here in nature is because I have to get away from myself. I have to get away from the pressure I put on myself. I have to get away from just, I have like, I'm very achievement oriented. And so if I'm not doing things to constantly push myself towards my goals, I'm going to do something, keep myself busy. Even though it may not be the most effective work, I'm going to keep myself busy because at least I feel like, okay, I'm working towards something where it could just be wasted motion for any of my athletes or performance folks out there. I used to run track back in the day, and you, when you're trying to, break your personal record or even just improve, you break down your form, your technique, and if you have a good coach, someone that's watching you, they're gonna let you know this is all the wasted movement. This is where you're inefficient, ineffective, and it's actually taken away from hitting a personal best. And here's what you can continue doing to hit that personal best. So sometimes, just taking a critical look at myself, I think sometimes I have wasted motion. I think I could be more effective, more efficient. Um, yes, being proficient. I don't have the Webster Dictionary with me out here. Some combination of those as I'm moving towards the goals that I have for myself. So again, I'm getting away from me out here where it's quiet, it's peaceful. Just listen to that silence for the most part. Um, it allows me to just have like these reflections and recharge my battery. So that's the good stuff. That's nature's good stuff right there. I was gonna say nature's natural drugs. Well, it's a drug for me. I love the silence. Sometimes I hike up to the very top, and you can just it's just so quiet, and I love that. I love that so much. What about you? What's one of your favorite things to do to recharge or get away, things like that? I like being on a lake too. I almost it's been raining here in Tucson. When I walked out the door, the first thing I could smell like the rain, of course, but I'm not sure if any of y'all have been fishing. When you get to the lake, there's a certain smell, not a bad smell, but there's a certain smell that just kind of reminds you of fishing. Um, and it was very comforting to have that smell this morning. I said, haven't been fishing in a while, but that's one of my other favorite things to do too. And I've gotten to the point where I don't even care if I catch anything. Sometimes I don't want to catch anything. Sometimes it's just about getting away from the just like breaking up the monotony, getting out of that kind of grind and providing that balance. So I'm gonna leave you with that. What are some ways you like to kind of unplug, unwind, break up the monotony, and recharge? So these are just some post podcast reflections. I'm gonna have my next podcast out next week. I'm gonna aim to drop it on Friday again. And while my podcast may not appeal to everyone, I hope the message or content can still relate. But if not, I'm gonna drop videos like this where it's not so niche. This is more everybody can relate. So the next podcast I'm going to be talking about a movie that came out this year. I'm going to tease my podcast a little bit. It was a movie that came out this year and got a lot of buzz, and that's all I'm going to say.